Hey everybody, before I get started, I just want to mention a couple of ways that you can engage with me on a more personal level. I have a few avenues set up and I keep focusing on one, and I figured why don't I make a short little video talking about all of them real quick before we get into these episodes. So first thing, Patreon. There's a link in the episode description, in every episode description to the Patreon, as well as a video on the feed called Major Announcement that has all the details of what each tier offers and how much they cost. I implore you to check that out. I offer a lot of cool shit for my patrons. Second thing, the Discord channel. There's also a Discord link in the episode description and in every episode description. I have multiple channels set up there for each show that I'm covering, and it's a great way to just engage with me. I have a channel set up for MMA talk as well. I'm a big MMA fan, so if you're an MMA fan, you can check that out as well. There's a link to the Discord in the episode description. And then lastly, the Facebook and Twitter. Social media. Follow me on there. I post news on there. When I say news, I mean like, hey, I'm stopping covering this show. Hey, I'm starting covering this show. Let me know what you think about this. I do live watches of things on Facebook where like I'll check in and say I'm watching so-and-so show, and then I'll like live comment while I'm watching it, and that'll be cool if maybe you watch that show too and you want to watch along with me, or you're watching it later and you will see my thoughts, which are usually pretty entertaining because I'm usually pretty high when I'm writing them. So check out all those links in each episode description, and let's talk about this episode. Peace.
One mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic. Yeah. All I need is one mic.
Hey everybody, welcome back to One Mic, and today I'm here to talk about Season 1, Episode 1 of Showtime's The Curse, entitled Land of Enchantment. In Espanola, New Mexico, it's quite the land of enchantment with its invisible homes and pop-up coffee shops with 6-month leases, children who will curse you. Like, if you're watching this video, you're either already a fan of me, hi both of you, or you're a fan of co-creators Nathan Fielder and or Benny Safdie, both known for creating some of the most jarring projects you're ever going to see. Safdie, along with his brother Josh, they wrote and directed Uncut Gems, great film. And Fielder, he created and starred in both Comedy Central's Nathan For You and HBO's The Rehearsal, which came out last year. Each of them, along with Emma Stone, they star in this series that seems to be a combination of the jarring tension you get from a Safdie project with the cringe-inducing humor you get from a Fielder one. And I'm not entirely sure what I think of this show just yet. And while I don't think that this is intentional, I don't think I've been given enough to know what this is going to be or even what it wants to be. There's a lot going on here in this first episode, and it's fun and it's compelling. So when I say a lot, I don't mean like it's messy. I just mean like there's a lot of different ways this can go. It's just, this first episode is set up a lot of different directions. So I'm kind of just sitting here weighing the potential for all the different possibilities. I will say, though, I absolutely did enjoy this episode. I don't think it's possible to watch this episode and have no interest in seeing what comes next. Unless, of course, you were totally put off by the male full frontal nudity. But I also do intend on full coverage for this show, but as longtime viewers of this channel know, I'm not afraid to say this shit is whack and stop covering it. So I don't see that happening here. So let's get into talking about this first episode. So like I said at the top, the show stars Nathan Fielder and Emma Stone as Asher and Whitney Siegel. They're married, obviously, and Benny Safdie is Dougie. Asher and Whitney are starting up a new fixer-upper kind of show on HGTV, like I said, in Espanola, New Mexico. The concept of the show alone is enough to kind of at least make you brace yourself for cringe. So what's happening here is they're building eco-friendly homes that are kind of meant to attract like these wealthy home buyers. People want to look they want a virtue signal. They want to look like they're doing the right thing, and if that means looking like they have the money to spend on doing the right thing, they're going to do that. And these eco-friendly homes, they're meant to kind of attract these wealthy gentrifiers to this Mexican community. But in order to offset the rising costs in the community because of the gentrifiers that they're bringing in, Asher and Whitney use the profits from their the eco-friendly home sales to subsidize the cost of the increasing rent for some of the Espanola residents. So they go around, they're filming the pilot of this show at the beginning of the episode, and we see the role that their producer, Dougie's going to play. In the opening scene, we meet this man whose mother is dying from cancer. He had to get 2 jobs to pay for cancer treatments, but now he's out of work and can't find a new job due to discrimination. He just says like, because of this, and he's like, got like tattoos all over his head and shit. You know, people probably look at him like, oh, he's a gangster. We're not gonna give him a fucking job. Asher and Whitney's big reveal for him is that they got him a job as a barista at a local coffee shop that's about to open. But when the mother, who I remind you is dying from cancer, doesn't give a joyous enough response, Dougie starts like pouring catfills of water onto her face to simulate like tears of joy, and then blows menthol in her eyes for redness. And yeah, that's the kind of show we're dealing with here. That's the kind of guy that Dougie is. He's a reality show producer who feels just because they're doing a flipping show on HGTV doesn't mean they can't have wild and crazy shit on there as well. And a moment ago, I said that the show set up a lot of different directions that it could go, both plot-wise and tonally. So I kind of want to get into that now, and I want to start with Asher, Nathan's character. He's different than any role that I've seen Nathan in before, and that he's added this layer of quick to set it the fuck off on top of all the generally cringe-inducing behavior you'd expect from a Nathan Fielder character. You know, there's a great scene early in the episode where Asher and Whitney are trying to promote their show to a local news reporter, and the reporter's going pretty hard at Whitney about how on one hand she's talking about wanting to help middle class, lower class people with housing in the Espanola community, but on the other hand, her parents are well-known slumlords in Santa Fe. And Asher, like, he politely shuts this down at first, but she keeps bringing it up, and his responses get more and more antagonistic until he literally snaps at her, and he's like, pay attention to me, look at me when I'm talking to you, don't look at her, look at me. That's like, it's very aggressive, like really just like shocking. And sidebar, this was a great performance from Nathan Fielder in this scene. And he's doing this with a fucking Oscar winner sitting next to him. So, pretty impressive there. They immediately realize that this interview can't air because it'll damage their reputation. Look at what they're trying to do in this community. They can't have something like this airing. So, their idea is to instead give this reporter a story disparaging an Indian casino in order to convince her to not run their story instead. So, like, don't run our story, and we'll give you something that will tear down the Indian community. So, again, that's the kind of show we're dealing with. One that's not afraid to sacrifice Indians for white well-being. Oh boy, that's not even funny. But if you're not new to Nathan Fielder, you know the escalation doesn't stop there. When he goes to meet with the reporter, she needs 10 minutes, so Dougie wants to film some B-roll with Asher while they wait. There's a pair of sisters, 2 little black girls, with a father who's separate, but watching, selling mini bottles of Sprite in the parking lot for $2 a piece. And Dougie wants Asher to go buy some of the Sprite so he can look like he gives little black kids money on TV. Like, oh, he's so kind. He gives little black girls money. Oh, of note here, the girl's father, he is I'm the Captain Now from Captain Phillips. So Asher gives the girl the only cash he has, which is a $100 bill, and he wants to take it back once he thinks that Dougie has stopped filming, but Dougie hasn't stopped filming, and he records Asher snatching the money back. And to his credit, he does say, like, I'll buy all 6 of the bottles for $20, which at $2 a piece, of course, they'd only be 12. He's gonna give them $20 and buy all 6 of them. You ain't gotta worry about it, because I mean, if he only bought one, they still might not sell the other 5. He's like, I'm gonna buy all 5 of them, and I'm gonna give you the money on top, extra money on top of it. He just doesn't want to pay the $100, which is fair. You just don't snatch it. But he snatches it, and the girl curses him anyway. And I love this scene because even though it was the most spoiled scene for me, as in like I knew it was happening, I knew that this was gonna be like kind of like the driving scene of the show. I love how when the girl said that she's gonna curse him, Asher smiles and laughs so dismissively, and I put it in my notes because I don't know if I've ever seen Nathan Fielder smile so genuinely. Like, he really thinks this curse is complete fucking bullshit. And then later in the episode, when Whitney, who clearly does not think it's bullshit, asks him to make it right, he's like, oh, you don't believe this, right? He's like, you're not a moron. Like, he's making like, oh, you're not a moron. You wouldn't believe this, which is literally saying, if you believe this, you're a moron. And no Billy Mays, but wait, there's more. After a near scare at the ATM over PIN code, Asher and Whitney go to dinner at Whitney's parents' house, and we have a sequence that will make you never see tomatoes the same ever again. Trying to explain what happened wouldn't do it justice, so if you saw it, you already know. And if you didn't, go watch it. A big takeaway from this scene that is kind of lost among the things that we see in the scene is that we learn that Asher and his wife aren't having sex, as well as the fact that she overshares with her parents. They both claim, and Asher seems to believe, that the size of his penis isn't a problem. But when we're treated to a sex scene later, and I trust me, when I said treated to, I use that phrasing intentionally. When we're treated to a sex scene between Asher and Whitney, and when I say I don't mean it in a good way, I do mean it in a good way, but not in the way that you think. Like we got Emma Stone busted it wide open. I don't mean like that. I think we're meant to wonder if Whitney saying that she's fine with Asher's penis is true. We learned that sex between Asher and Whitney doesn't necessarily involve any sex between Asher and Whitney. It involves Asher using a vibrator on Whitney that not only does it have the name of another man, but he's not even allowed to watch while she uses it. He just keeps his head down outside of her legs like this while he jerks off. Like, it's the saddest fucking thing ever. And on one hand, it's one of those like, holy shit, I'm seeing this on TV kind of scenes. But on the other hand, it makes you wonder if there's some sort of deep-seated lack of desire on Whitney's part to have sex with Asher, and if that's going to be something that's going to play out throughout the course of the season, and that's compelling to me. And the reason that's interesting is because, I don't know about you guys, I was getting some strange vibes from Dougie at the end when he was complimenting Whitney. And, like, what if she's unsatisfied with Asher's dick and she learns that he lied about giving the girl the $100 back and the curse being lifted, and then Dougie comes along with a beefsteak tomato dick? I don't know. I think a curse gets much worse if it results in your wife fucking your friend. So, but here's the thing, though. Like I said, there's so many different directions they could go. That might not even be a thing that they expand on. Like, so I don't know. I don't know. And then the lie at the end about returning the money, it was so elaborate, it's going to be super easy to pick apart. So hopefully now you see what I mean when I was talking about all the different directions the show can go. You got humor, but you also have shocking things that can upset you or make you cringe. You have a curse. You have social commentary about gentrification. Is Asher going to continue the white man's rampage on the native Indian in order to save his own ass? Are Asher and Whitney going to get to the heart of what's going on in the bedroom? Or am I making too much of that and it's not even a thing that they're going to explore and it was just meant to be funny in that moment? Who knows? But that's what I mean about varying directions, varying tones. But that's where I stand. I found this, again, to be a really enjoyable episode. I feel pretty in the dark about where it's going, but I also have great hope and expectations for where it's going. I think it has a lot of potential. I do intend on covering it week to week. And on that note, I will see you guys next week for a more thorough breakdown of the show. I think we should have a better idea of what it's about, what it's going to look like, and, full spoilers, full digging in. Well, I mean, I had spoilers here, but, a little bit more thorough than this. So I will see you guys next week, probably on Monday is this a Sunday show? I think so. I don't know, whenever it airs, man. I'll see you guys shortly thereafter to talk about episode 3. Until then, peace.